What if Izuku Midoriya was in Demon Slayer? Now guys, I haven't did a Demon Slayer video in what feels like a long time, and I haven't been posting a lot lately, so I'm glad to be back. Let's get right into it. So Izuku Midoriya is basically the greatest hero in My Hero Academia, and since the series is fully ended now, we're gonna put him into the Demon Slayer world, so everything starts the same. Tanjiro still goes out to sell coal, stays the night because demons are roaming around, and comes back in the morning to find his whole family slaughtered by Muzan. He grabs Nezuko, tries to get her help, meets Giyu, fights him, and then gets sent to train with Urokodaki. He trains, passes final selection, kills the hand demon, and goes on his journey meeting Zenitsu and Inosuke, and everything plays out the same all the way up until Mount Natagumo. So Mount Natagumo, all the demon slayers are getting called there since it could be a lower moon, and this is the first time we see Midoriya. Now he just got teleported there right when Tanjiro's story started, so he's only had a couple months to even understand what's going on, and he knows demons exist and stuff like that, but he barely knows how to deal with them yet. So he meets Tanjiro and everybody there and goes up the mountain with him. He does have a Demon Slayer sword because he just joined the Demon Slayer Corps, but he barely knows breathing techniques and mostly just relies on his quirks. And I'm using end of series Midoriya because he's way stronger and just overall better, so he has all of his quirks and can use around 40 to 50% of One for All. So they run up the mountain while Zenitsu still stays back because he's scared and later fights the spider demon and defeats it. They go up there and defeat the mom demon, and then when Tanjiro gets blasted away by the dad demon, Midoriya and Inosuke stay back to fight it, and honestly the dad demon has no real chance because Midoriya completely outscales the Demon Slayer verse in raw strength and speed. He starts using One for All, Fajin, and all his other quirks to overwhelm it and basically beats it apart with pure strength. Meanwhile, everything still happens the same with Rui and Tanjiro, with Tanjiro almost defeating Rui using sun breathing until Shinobu and Giyu show up. Nothing really changes there. Shinobu still takes care of the demon she killed in the original timeline. Giyu helps Tanjiro, and then everything moves into the Hashira meeting arc, basically the same with Giyu and Urokodaki vouching for Nezuko. After that, we move into the Mugen Train arc, and Midoriya is now part of the group. Now basically everything starts the same way. Emu traps everybody in the dream world and everybody breaks out of it. Zenitsu, Nezuko, and Rengoku protect the train while Midoriya, Inosuke, and Tanjiro go and defeat Emu the same as usual, just with way more help this time, but the train still derails and Akaza still comes. Rengoku starts fighting him and everything happens the same at first, with nobody helping him until it starts looking really bad. Once Rengoku starts losing, Midoriya steps in super fast, using Fajin and all his quirks to save him. He grabs Rengoku, puts him next to Tanjiro, and starts fighting Akaza by himself, since he's a hero and always tries to save people first. He starts using Smokescreen to distract him and combines all his quirks together, and honestly Akaza really can't do much, because Midoriya is probably faster, stronger, and has way more abilities to work with. So he eventually defeats Akaza and kills Upper Moon 3 right there. After that, they head back to the Demon Slayer Corps, Rengoku heals up, and Midoriya gets offered a Hashira spot, but he'd probably say no since he still barely understands what this world even is. Then we move into the Entertainment District arc, and everything basically happens the same all the way until Tanjiro fights Daki. Tengen and the others still show up, but this time Midoriya helps Tengen fight Gyutaro while everybody else fights Daki. And honestly, this fight becomes way easier because Midoriya completely outscales most of the Demon Slayer verse. He uses Smokescreen, Fajin, and all his quirks together to overwhelm Gyutaro while still helping Tanjiro's group when needed, and eventually they defeat both Daki and Gyutaro way easier than in the original timeline. Gyutaro still poisons everyone, but Nezuko heals them with her flames afterward. After that, we move into the Swordsmith Village arc, and Midoriya probably needs a brand new Nichiren blade since he doesn't really use breathing styles and keeps damaging his sword with his quirks and fighting style, so he goes with Tanjiro to the Swordsmith Village to get a new blade. So Midoriya probably helps out Tanjiro's group during the Swordsmith Village arc, and I'm gonna skip straight to the fighting where Muchiro gets blasted away and later fights Upper Moon 5 Gyoko, while Tanjiro's group with Midoriya, Genya, and Nezuko fights Upper Moon 4 and all the emotion clones. This time, Midoriya can basically handle all the emotion clones at once by himself, so Tanjiro gets way more of a chance to go track down the main body. While all this is happening, Mitsuri is coming back after saving the village chief and goes to help Tanjiro's group, and by this point, Midoriya already pushed the fight all the way to the final emotion clone, so Mitsuri mainly just helps hold it off while Tanjiro hunts down the real body. Mitsuri probably doesn't even unlock the Demon Slayer mark in this timeline because Midoriya is already doing most of the work anyway. Meanwhile, Muchiro finally defeats Upper Moon 5 Gyoko, unlocks his Demon Slayer mark, gets his new sword, and throws Tanjiro his new blade so Tanjiro can finally cut off the main body's head and defeat Upper Moon 4, and Nezuko Nezuko still becomes immune to sunlight, and after all that, we move into the Hashira training arc. So the Hashira training arc really doesn't change that much because Rengoku is still alive, so Rengoku takes over Muchiro's training section, so Muchiro doesn't have to overwork himself training everybody. Everything else basically happens the same with the Ubuyashiki family doing their plan and trapping Muzan, and then Muzan pulls everybody into the Infinity Castle for the Infinity Castle arc. Now Akaza is already dead, so the Upper Moon 3 fight never even happens. So for the Upper Moon 1 fight, Midoriya goes straight there using Fajin and all his quirks to sense Kokushibo's presence, and he starts fighting him while Muchiro and Genya first arrive. Midoriya tells them to stay back because honestly he completely outscales Kokushibo in this timeline. He's way too fast, way too strong, and Kokushibo really can't keep up with him. Midoriya eventually goes all out using his full power and defeats Kokushibo pretty easily, and then Kokushibo remembers his brother and finally accepts death. After that, we move to the Upper Moon 2 fight with Doma. Shinobu is already gone, so Rengoku and Giyu arrive there and fight Doma together, and with both of them there, they eventually defeat him way easier than the original timeline. Now for the side battles, Zenitsu versus Kaigaku still ends the same, with Zenitsu winning using the 7th form, and then Nakame versus Mitsuri, Obanai, and Yushiro happens with Yushiro taking over the Infinity Castle. Muzan notices Nakame lost control, kills her, and then Yushiro gets everybody out of the Infinity Castle for the Sundown Countdown arc. Now we're in the Sundown Countdown arc, and honestly this timeline is way easier for the Demon Slayers compared to the original because most of the Hashira are still alive and in way better condition. Shinobu is really the only major loss before this point. Once everybody gets out of the Infinity Castle, Muzan instantly starts attacking everyone, but Midoriya immediately takes control of the battlefield. Using Danger Sense, Fajin, Gear Shift, Black Whip, Smokescreen, and One for All together, he's constantly moving around faster than Muzan can even react to. Every time Muzan tries to hit one of the Hashira with those giant tentacle attacks, Midoriya jumps in and blocks or redirects them before they can even land. And with Tamayo's drug already weakening Muzan more and more, Midoriya is making it even worse by not giving him any room to breathe. Now Tanjiro, Giyu, Rengoku, Obanai, Mitsuri, Gyomei, Sanemi, Zenitsu, and Inosuke are all helping pressure Muzan too. But Midoriya is clearly carrying the fight because he completely outscales the Demon Slayer verse in raw speed and strength. Muzan starts realizing this guy is way more dangerous than any Hashira he's ever fought before because Midoriya is hitting him with attacks strong enough to destroy entire city blocks while still moving faster than Muzan can regenerate properly. Midoriya even starts using Black Whip to hold Muzan in place at certain moments, so Tanjiro and the others can land attacks easier, and because of that, Muzan never gets the chance to unleash that giant attack from the original timeline that nearly killed all the Hashira. So instead of everyone getting blown away and heavily injured, the Hashira stay way healthier in this timeline. Gyomei and Sanemi are still fighting at nearly full strength, Rengoku is still alive helping the front lines, Mitsuri and Obanai are both still fighting together, and Giyu is helping Tanjiro create openings. Meanwhile, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Kanao help deal with the smaller flesh attacks and protect injured demon slayers around the battlefield. As the fight keeps going, Muzan gets more desperate and starts trying to escape before the sun rises, but Midoriya's Danger Sense instantly notices it every single time. Using Gear Shift and Fajin together, Midoriya completely blitzes Muzan and slams him back into the battlefield over and over again. Tanjiro finally unlocks the complete 13th form from Yoriichi and starts chaining all the sun-breathing forms together perfectly while Midoriya keeps creating openings for him. At this point, Muzan is getting overwhelmed from every direction, and his regeneration is slowing down heavily because of Tamayo's medicine. He starts aging rapidly and losing control of his body, while Midoriya keeps hammering him with One for All at nearly full power. Then, right before sunrise, Muzan desperately tries one last time to escape underground, but Midoriya uses Black Whip to grab him while Obanai, Gyomei, Sanemi, and Rengoku all pin him down long enough for Tanjiro to land another huge sun-breathing attack. Midoriya then uses all of One for All and launches Muzan directly into the sunlight, and with everybody holding him there, Muzan finally burns away and dies for good. Tanjiro never becomes the Demon King in this timeline because Muzan never gets the chance to infect him, and most of the Hashira survive because Midoriya ended the fight way faster than the original timeline. Gyomei might still die later because of the Demon Slayer mark, but Rengoku survives, Mitsuri and Obanai end up together, Giyu survives, and overall, this is honestly one of the happiest Demon Slayer timelines because Midoriya was just way too overpowered for the verse. Hope you guys liked this video. Make sure to go check out one of my favorite videos. What if Meijo Yuji was in Demon Slayer?